Good morning, everybody. My name's Ryan. This is Crosswatcher. You're watching a timeless video. Today we have a read for the collective, and we also have a message for any initiates. And oh, there's my light. Okay. So, what's going on with the collective? Okay, so first of all, I want to pull a number. Let's pull a number. I didn't want to really bust out the cards, but oh, these videos are improv, by the way. They are timeless, so take them as they resonate. What's affecting the energies uh, can be relevant to the past, present, or future. Take that as it resonates, and let's get into it. So a little bit about who I am. My name is Ryan. I am a psychic medium or intuitive medium, however you want to interpret that. I came into this gnosis through a massive upgrade during the last Lionsgate portal. I wasn't originally attached to the spiritual. I was and am Christian, with flexible beliefs, middle ground beliefs. I don't polarize anything. So if that's what you're expecting in your faith from me, then that's just something you're reaching for. Maybe you need to look into that. But here on this channel, we don't reach. We stand in middle ground, and we don't judge anybody. So trying to stay on topic. So an overall collective message was, you might be feeling this almost like a pain, like a physical feeling in your heart. This is mostly for the collective right now. You might be feeling this hurt, and it's not really attached to any emotion. Maybe some of you, yeah, it's attached to emotion, but really it's just like a physical sign, because the collective is hurting right now. The collective is hurting. It makes sense. This video comes after me filming this video comes after a great loss, and the collective is hurting. Okay, so we're just gonna, we're gonna meditate on that. That it shows up as signs of a feeling in the chest area, the heart chakra, and possibly even a little restriction in the voice. Having some restriction in the voice lately. But so I'm seeing the number 2. I believe it's 2. Two main visions came in. And I wanted to pull a card from this new deck. I have a blue deck now. I have tarot cards coming today, but they're coming today. But for now, I have two decks, one red, one blue. And I want to pull a middle card, because I'm seeing the number 2. Let's see if the 2 pops up. Let's shuffle a couple times. Seeing the number 2. Pretty sure it's the number 2. That's the Queen. It's the Queen of Hearts. It's very selfish energy. Very stubborn. Always knows what they want and always gets it. So somebody is getting what they want. Perhaps twice over. And today's message is about the spiritual, about your connection to the spiritual. Now, this topic kind of goes into the initiate category, because my Lightworker fam out there already knows this. They already understand their connection to the divine. But initiates, it's a little bit different. There's a little bit of perspective missing, and I think I have your answer today. Some of you might be seeing the sun popping up, maybe in your tarot readings, relative to you. Perhaps we're looking at Leo, possibly Aries, Cancer, Sagittarius, signs that this might be relative to. And of course, we have the collective, which feels all the signs. So, let me see. So for the initiates. So right now you're you're wondering what how to develop your relationship with the divine, and you might be realizing that you have these blockers. You're not really sure what they are. You're not really sure where they come from, what form they take. There's so many emotions attached to them, so you can't really pinpoint. You know, there's no legend in the corner of your map to tell you, you know, where it all comes from, where it all originates from. Well, not gonna reveal all the truths, but we're gonna start with one particular truth, and that is the truth of imagination. Now, in the 3D world, we call it the 3D world. You call it your regular everyday life. You get up, you wake up, you have your coffee or juice, your cereal, you go to work, you come home, you deal with somebody or something, you watch TV, the 3D world. You watch the news, you hear all the bad news, you hear all the good news. That is the 3D world. Now, we are kind of pegged into this notion that we have to have logic, understanding, knowledge, and we have to be grounded. And those are all true facts. But there is a little bit more at play here. If this has never been explained to you before, hit the thumbs up, leave me a comment below, because we're going to get into this right now. So, the idea that imagination can spark your creativity, or is that a window of creativity, that is also a fact. But hardly ever in third dimensional philosophies do they ever relate the two. That your imagination is actually at the forefront of everything you create in your world, that expands your horizons, that brings in abundance remotely, you know, in a miracle aspect from the 3D perspective. But it's really just the facts of life. This is just how it works. The laws of attraction, the laws of mirroring, and your confidence and your imagination come into play. Now, you might have not led with your imagination. You might have not leaned into your imagination in the past. Understandably so, because we're led to believe that our imagination has a ceiling, that there's limitations when we, and you know, that is also logical, because as we try to expand our imagination outward from an external point, using all of our reference points as what's really happening, there hits a limitation. But there is no limitation when it comes from within. Okay, of course, this requires some exercise and some knowledge. It requires actually doing the work. But your imagination can literally be the key and the window to your golden opportunity in life. It could be the thing that changes your entire future, your course. You can jump timelines just with the power of your imagination. So I want to kind of just leave it at that. You know, let it resonate. Leave me a comment. Share these videos, man. Go through these videos. You're going to find that topics are a little bit more relevant than maybe you first glanced at when you clicked on this video. But this is your initiation. This is your starting point, and you have to make a promise to yourself. You have to find a way to tap into that imagination, to find that emergence where your imagination and your commitment to yourself create this open door. This requires letting go. And this may require letting go on a huge scale, to the point of discomfort. Because the world, okay, first of all, the world wants you to be uncomfortable. We know that. But the universe actually needs you to be uncomfortable in order for you to step into your power. That is fact. You can ask any light worker that. We know this from a very core sense. You know, we are born with this sense of knowledge and power, in a subtlety, and that's where imagination comes back in, because our imaginations are squashed down at an early age when we really should be developing our imaginations and our grounding, of course, all simultaneously. So yeah, imagination is the key. The sun is definitely in your sign, and if it's not in your sign right now, it definitely will be. It's kind of a duh moment there. I'm just starting all this out. Um, I might not always have the right words to say, but I know for a fact that this is my birthright because this is what I do, regardless if I'm doing it intentionally or not. I am um, I am the spark of inspiration, and that's something that you need to start telling yourself. You are the spark of inspiration. You are the center of everything that creates from the inside out. Um, I don't know always what to say because I'm just getting into this. I lived my entire life with this hidden power that I only ever saw when people acknowledged it. And being an introvert, thinking I was an extrovert all my life because I'm so outgoing and social, realized that that's actually not true. I was actually an introvert this whole time. Um, on that Briggs scale, I'm that IN something personality, that personality that has the psychic abilities, whatever. Anyways, lived my entire life with this power and knowing that there is a truth, but knowing that I'm just too strong for the world. I've never met a light worker before. That's just never something I've ever met. I've never met a light worker before. As far as I'm concerned, if there was no YouTube, if there was no YouTube, and then the obvious running into people that are extraordinarily special, not having personal relationships with them, not really meeting them, but knowing that that's them walking by, that's them coming into my view and leaving. But I've never actually known one. I'm the only one, and that will change. But I wasn't searching for this. It wasn't something that I was intentionally trying to do, but this is just where synchronicity comes back into play, where you have to have faith in the universe because it's gonna bring you around to your birthright again. Um, I lived a past life. Um, I was a mage, and I was my life was cut short, and I was in contact with my soulmate at the time, a very beautiful young brunette with very striking blue eyes. Uh, and so I see this energy everywhere I go, and that was always like a thing that haunted me, and it no longer haunts me now. Now I see her. Now I'm just being patient and waiting for her. But she's part of a bigger plan. Um, yeah, I was a mage in the beginning of the 1600s, or at least by record by the third dimensional known record of the 13 or 1600s, I believe. I see 1606, 1635, and my life was cut short, um, most likely due to persecution. And I've recently been able to finally access part of this Akashic record, and I do see through time. I left and I came back, uh, but then somewhere in there, probably after my life was initially cut short in 1600s. Um, I I came back, or at least I was still here. I was here, and I was dealing with, or at least maybe some people were trying to help me, like some preachers were trying to help me, some priests. Um, Back in those days, they were trying to help me, and I believe they helped me. I believe they did. It's a little fuzzy. Still just getting this. I just have to keep reaccessing these memories. But there was some conflict there, and I'm not really sure what it had to do with, but it was very, very serious, which is partially, why I'm so serious all the time. I'm a very light, very funny and energetic and romantic and attractive person. But essentially, everything I do, even when it's out of love and joy, is very, very serious for whatever reason. And I believe that stems from these past memories that I am transmuting. I'm integrating all this from, or I guess you call it past life regression. I'm not really sure what that's called. I don't have actual book knowledge of this. This is just stuff that comes naturally when you're spontaneously awakened. So, anyways, moving forward into that memory. So I lingered and I left. I went home, And I was briefed or debriefed and sent back, but I was sent back, but my life was cut short again. Not funny. I actually didn't even make it out of childhood. I was a very young child, and I must have died. I must have was did in by a disease or something. I don't know, because I don't have a memory really of any of that. And I'm not too clear on what century that was. All I know is that I didn't have much experience after that, and I came back in one of the new waves of star seeds. And it's hard for me to actually say if I'm a star seed, or pretty sure I'm a star seed. But I know for a fact that I was a mage, and that my partner, my soulmate, was a mage, a young mage that I was teaching, and I was learning essentially myself. I was learning, but with a lot of natural great power, a lot of knowledge, no veils, no filters. But I have had veils. I've had filters, you know, the ones that you don't want, and I've had to get rid of that. Um, and I'm getting there. But so that's a little insight on where I'm coming from. My relationship has developed with the spirituality, with the spiritual world, uh, the knowledge. I've come into a gnosis. Sorry, I'm just still just really I'm still really human, you know. Like that the human aspect of you just it never goes anywhere. It stays with you, and you have to integrate it. And that comes with all the great, the good and the bad. You just have to integrate it. You have to become aware of it. So let's talk about. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about that. I'm being a little bit airy right now, a little bit scatterbrained. I'm trying to make some physical changes that are causing me to space out a little bit. But that's all right. So yeah, very raw spiritual knowledge coming here. Make sure you're subscribed, because this is the kind of information you need. You don't need anybody stroking your ego or acting all poofy, acting all woo woo, giving you false hope. Because it's time to get serious. It's time to be happy. It's time to finally be free. But you have to get serious. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for novelty. This is not for novelty's sake. Okay, this message is not for everybody, and it shouldn't be. But it is for a lot of people. Let's talk about visions. Visions are coming in more clear, and probably for you too. So one main vision I seen was the Giza Plateau, the pyramids, and I'm not sure what time frame this is, or this feels like the future to me. So people are getting ready for some kind of huge event, and I have not been watching any news. I don't know if there's anything in the news, or has been, or will be, and I'm not going to watch the news. But I see a flyover of the between the pyramids, Giza Plateau, and there's people, event coordinators, laying out like a big blue square of some kind. I'm not even sure if it has any designs on it or anything. It looks to me like they're planning an event, um, a celebration of spiritual nature, and possibly even of an extraterrestrial contact. Maybe people will be doing both while they're there, and I'm not sure when. Is this happening soon? I don't know. Uh, but I see in broad daylight, sun overhead, flying over the Giza Plateau, the pyramids, and people are laying out a giant blue rectangle or square uh, that is very big. And you can see it like from up in the sky. Let's see what else. Someone's vacationing. Maybe you're watching this from your vacation. I see a beautiful ocean view from a moderately small, modern beach house, a big window, seeing through it. Maybe someone's sitting on the couch watching TV or watching YouTube on their phone. They just happen to come across this small video. This small video that might not even have that many views, and you're wondering, oh, let me see what this is all about. Well, this is what it's all about, bud. You know, your higher consciousness and the collective spiritual consciousness is calling you to take action in your life. You have a life path to follow. Maybe your life path is 2, and it's time to start bringing yourself together, collecting yourself, so that you can integrate relationships, so that you can finally step into the future to where you see, because you know you've been accessing, maybe that word triggered you, the Akashic record. You've been accessing portions of the Akashic record and you didn't really understand that. But maybe you do now, after understanding that the key to all of life, to life's answers, it lies within your imagination. That's been beaten out of you. You think your imagination is just a mixture of chemicals and thoughts and whatnot, or at least you used to. People out there do. They still do. They still think it's just a mixture of stuff. But let me tell you something from experience. When you start accessing the raw informational, the downloads, the energies, when you start processing it, yeah, it's real. The imagination comes to life in a way that you just didn't think was possible. And understandably. I mean, there's a whole force out there. There's 2 forces out there. Or actually, there's infinite amount of forces, but there's 2 forces when you start out this journey. There's forces trying to hold you down, obviously, and there's forces trying to lift you up. And then it gets real complicated. But for right now, that's all you really need to focus on. You know, there's energies trying to hold you down, and there's energies trying to force you, trying to help you up. And they're both playing with your imagination. And we're going to end it a little bit right here, but they're both trying to play with your imagination. And you're not going to get rid of either side. You have to figure out how to integrate both sides so that you can see through the middle path of where they're both trying to get you to go. But essentially, together, they are lifting you up into the person you need to be. Nothing happens by happenstance. Nothing happens by coincidence. Right. So, I didn't even light the intention candle. Look at me. Didn't even light the intention candle. Maybe some of you are seeing visions. Maybe some of you are even seeing a motherly figure, or possibly the Virgin Mary. Possibly. Some of you are very excited, or maybe are just learning that, I don't know, I don't watch the news, learning that there's celestial events at play, perhaps comets, perhaps asteroid, there is an asteroid event coming up in November, I believe. Or I don't know if it's going to be through this month of October, where I'm filming this now, October 8th. I see 33 steps. I see 33 steps. Spirit is showing me 33 huge steps. Some of them smooth, some of them not so smooth. Some of them very, very integrated and entangled with each other. Steps that are integrated with each other. 33 steps to, we can call it spiritual enlightenment. Let's call it that. Not even going to dig into the detail on what it's 33 steps to, but you have 33 steps. Now, within those 33 steps are broken down into aspects. Some of them are significantly aspects of 3 aspects in each step. 33 steps to spiritual enlightenment. Each one has 3 aspects, and with their own specific characteristics and their own challenges and obstacles. This is in your future. 33 steps to enlightenment. This could take a number of years. There's no such thing as time, so it'll be different for everybody. But there are 33 steps left to enlightenment for whoever is in the collective tapping into this message today. Now, the first 2 steps are going to blend in together, and it's going to be kind of like you're just going to be coming out of the gate, running. I don't even know what that expression is. Hit the road, hit the pavement running. you're gonna hit the road running, or whatever that expression is. The first step, maybe it's this next step, and maybe this step already just happened, or it's about to happen, of course. But the step is going to be in total 2 steps, one and then the other, one after the other, and they are not going to be aligned. They're going to shift you off course, or they're going to partially shift your mind off course, and you might have to come back to this step again to get to the third step. And that's the first increment, 33. That's increments of 3 leading up to 33. Take it as it resonates. So the first step is going to take you off your path. And now, what you need to know is right now, solidify the middle ground. Solidify the potential and the possibility right here and right now. And remember this message, because when this step comes up, you will need to realign yourself with your path. The message is your path right now is exactly the path that you need to be taking. But there's going to be a huge step coming up that's going to you off your path, and you need to path back in its place. Tell you're not going to with its okay? Anyways, next. So that's the first detail you need to know. I'm not going to have any more details leading up to that. I can say the next step after that blending of first initial steps is going to be an isolated step all by itself, but it is attached to 2 other steps, the increments of 3. It's all math. This is what Spirit is showing me. They all have their own characteristics. They're spaced out. It's going to seem like some lag time. I'm reading Wax, by the way. I didn't even know I knew how to read Wax, but hey, when you ask for it, the universe gives it to you, and you just have to take the responsibility and accountability and put in the hard work. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. When you're feeling it, when synchronicity is in play, you don't have to worry about any of that, because these messages are going to land exactly where they need to land. And if that resonates for you, leave me a comment below, please. So we got some spread out steps after the initial step, where it's going to be pretty significant. Okay, I got to accomplish this, and then I got to accomplish this now, and then I'm done with those 2. I got to accomplish this, and then you're going to realize at the end of that one, I know I'm getting confused, but you're going to realize at the end of that one that, those spread out steps that took that unforeseeable amount of time were actually one big step. And now it's subtly still, you aligned yourself, but you're aligning more subtly over time. Give it time, but then it's going to, bam, it's going to hit you right away. I see the infinity sign. It's going to hit you right away. The next increment, the 3 steps after that, the 1 increment, are going to be completely blended together. This looks like a very fluid transition into the next step, which is going to be, again, spread out a tiny bit. It's just going to keep doing this. It's just going to keep bringing you back around, spreading you out, bringing it back together. Spreading out, bringing back together. Maybe there's something going on in your life that's kind of doing that. Maybe you're looking at something visually that's rocking back and forth. Maybe a rocking chair. You're in a rocking chair. You're on a porch, maybe. Some kind of swing chair. Or something is doing this dance. Now this dance is the universe. Your mind is interpreting this message from the universe. That this is how you need to be in sync. This is how your life is going. So you need to be in sync with it too. Back and forth. In and out. And it has its different characteristics and properties. And you have to adapt to that. Hopefully, that is making sense. I'm sure it is. Anyways, so yeah, celestial events. Everyone's getting ready. It makes sense. But this is 33 steps. This is 30, you know what this is? This is 33 steps to Christ consciousness for some of you. Christ consciousness isn't just some whimsical idea. Christ consciousness, now we're going to go back to the 3D aspect of all this. We're just going to put aside spirituality. Christ consciousness actually has a physical effect. It's not just a placebo effect. See, there's a thing that placebo can't do for you. See, placebo can give you something that you already experienced, whether it's in your subconscious or not. But placebo cannot activate something you didn't even know you had. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Or let me know if that doesn't make sense at all. Maybe I can make a correction later on. Um, but we're going to roll with this. Christ consciousness is an actual physical thing. Your body reacts and evolves. It integrates and I guess you could say morphs or adapts. Your chemistry, your genes, your DNA, everything changes. Use your imagination, harness that imagination to know that this is true, because there's only going to be all these other aspects, these other partial truths that are going to weigh you down and be like, oh, my imagination isn't worth jack. But your imagination is worth the jack, if that resonates. Christ consciousness is a physical thing, and there's two things I know about the physical nature of Christ consciousness. One is that when you are in Christ consciousness and it is activated, which is always happening, you can control it, you can do it without controlling it, you can use it to do things, you can use it to change things, you can use it to change the world. Imagination is a real thing, is a power. Christ consciousness is a real thing. It's a power. It's an ability. It's a birthright. Christ consciousness is a physical aspect. You can feel it going up your spine, and it'll go all the way up to the top of your head, possibly even beyond, and it'll go all the way back down. And it'll keep doing this. And it'll stop at certain points in the body, kind of like as holding points. And it keeps moving, and it keeps traveling, and it's doing something. It's actually doing something. And essentially, this will eventually create this ability to control a physical thing inside your body. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Some of you who know what this is, leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up, please. Hit 1111 in the comments and claim this message, because you're probably getting confirmation that this is an actual real thing. This physical thing inside the body you did not have control over before is now all of a sudden operating, and you're like, oh crap, this is so cool. It is really cool. It is a really cool thing, and it serves a huge purpose. We're not going to get too deep into it, but you need to start with the knowledge of Christ consciousness and how imagination is actually a key to opening up things in the physical world that create your reality, that create abundance, that create everything you need. Now, of course, for those of you who aren't aware, you're going to get this big old rock to the head right now, where it takes a lot of pain and anguish and anxiety, and it takes a lot of stress, and it takes a lot of emotion, a lot of the bad stuff to happen. The more bad stuff that happens in your life, the better things will get. That's just how it works. Stress leads us into this ultimate becoming of Christ consciousness. You can probably using your imagination, you could probably imagine how hard it is on people you've known that are light workers, probably even how hard it's been on me. You can probably see it and feel it hear it in my voice, feel it in my energy, that it is something that can physically traumatize you. But for the strongest of us, it is a walk in the park. We've lived our lives in ways that we didn't want to live our lives, but we're so glad that we did, because it brought us into this gnosis. It created evolution, and now we're strong enough to help others. We're at least knowledgeable enough to step into that valence of accountability for each other, the collective. Anyways, not to trail off too much. Christ consciousness is creating two things. One, it's creating this physical thing in the spine, this feeling that's connected to your spirituality, and that activates like a muscle that you can turn on and off. And those are the two things. I'm not going to get, there's more, but I'm not going to get too deep into it for the initiates. Don't want to confuse you. Essentially, I do need to scare you. This isn't something someone's telling me to do. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of critics out there being like, you shouldn't be so intense, or you shouldn't be so serious. But then there's going to be there's a ton of people out there that understand exactly what I'm saying. And that's my fam. I got your back. You got my back, I know. Let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, your imagination is key. It's the key to your power. Celestial events are coming in, and whether it's eclipses or asteroids or comets, moon cycles, you need to dive deep into your integration during these cycles. You should be doing it all the time. Okay. I want to say, even if it's possible to take time off to handle what you have to handle, do it. But that's not part of the message. I'm not telling you to skip out on your physical responsibilities, your whatever. I'm not telling you to disband from everybody. Actually, actually, that is part of the message. Wait. So you have to balance something here. This is part of the message. Okay, so you have to. I am not telling you. Spirit is not telling you to quit your job or take time off of work, because you still need to prepare for holiday season and the rush. But you're also being called to find a way to fit it in to, whether it's your superiors, your families, whatever. Fit it into people that you need to be silent for a while, that you need to kind of draw within, and that this isn't, that you need to go as far as to not even make eye contact, and you need to be a little rude and not make eye contact, not saying, for a few days, maybe 3 days, maybe a couple days. You just need time. And so maybe you do have to voice that to people, and so that they know that you're not trying to be a prick. You're not trying to be, you know, you need some time to settle in. And the world is so emotional these days. They're not going to mind. They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, as long as you still do your thing, as long as you're still here, or whatever. You don't need to talk to me if you need this time out. Go ahead. Or if you really need a time out, go ahead, get away if you can. If you got the PTO, go for it. Um, and tap into your imagination. Trust your imagination. Trust your imagination.